Is it me? It can't be just me, right? Is it me? TGS 2020 feels really bad. Nothing looks next gen. I don't see much creativity and innovation into the future. I see a lot of old titles, and then I see new titles that are made for the old generation. I don't understand what's going on. We're gonna look at more than a few things and examples. Few things that I'm excited about, but that's few and far between. We're gonna go over some of the titles here so far. Main point of the video is I can't be the only one feeling like TGS 2020 has been a disappointment as a whole so far. Now, that's not to say that things can't heat up towards the end and we can't get some really big new announcements. Maybe because the two consoles are coming out and they both had events and they both announced all their big titles and their next gen stuff, that this was the place for everything secondary from Japan, I guess. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm pretty confused.
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.
This is going to be about the game, so let's start off with Nier Replicant. I had talked about Nier Replicant in a previous video, hoping that it was a really big full production remake of that original, and sadly it's not. It is made for the PS4 and Xbox One, and to be honest, I don't want to hear about any games made for those consoles, because those consoles are done. They're dead to me. You know, everybody's really just waiting on Cyberpunk 2077 to end this generation. Nier Replicant looks like it should have came out a while ago, honestly. I do like the premise, and I do want to get into the series. That's why I'm still kind of giving this a little bit of a pass on how dated it looks a little bit, even though everything's been revamped, obviously, because the original was made such a long time ago. But I'm slightly disappointed that this wasn't taken to that next level. Nothing that you'll really see has been taken to that next level at all from TGS 2020, and I'm just really surprised. I'm just gonna go with Nier Replicant. Kinda disappointing. They also showed Nier Reincarnation. Now, the Nier series, I've seen the crossovers, I played Automata. I'm really engrossed in the story of Nier. However, do I think an iOS and Android game is the way to go to tell the story? I sure as shit don't. Now, in Japan, I know that the mobile game scene is a lot bigger than it is here, especially like better titles. Yeah, we got the Clash of Clans and shit like that over here, but they do try to make other titles, but the mobile game scene to me is just not something I wanted to see with this kind of franchise and this kind of story, especially since everybody in recent memory has got Nier Automata on the mind, and that shit was fucking amazing. I don't know what's going on. Again, Nier Reincarnation gets a disappointing face from me. One of the most promising things out of TGS 2020 so far is that Capcom seems to be making a huge push to have their name on your mouth. It seems like we're getting a lot, so big shouts out to Capcom for doing big things. That is one of the best things coming out of TGS 2020. So yeah, Flight Simulator, getting like a Japan area update or whatever. Yeah, cool. Real fucking cool. I think Samurai Showdown is getting some kind of update or something with Samurai Spirits. Again, yeah, cool. Now, I'm a big fighting game fan. Like, I really like to watch Mortal Kombat tournaments. Dragon Ball Z Fighter, I thought was amazing in that it broke ground into the genre and made that into that kind of game where people were playing it like a Sonic Fox. I like watching fighting games more than I actually like playing them. Injustice, I really do like watching them. And yeah, Samurai Spirit. Virtual Fighter is good news. Now, again, I'm not a big fighter fan, so I'm not going to knock this because there are tons of fighter gamers out there, but know that Virtual Fighter definitely to me has a little bit of a nostalgia. I remember playing that. I am happy for people who are happy about this. I'll just leave Virtual Fighter at that. Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age S Definitive Edition. Again, if you recall my previous video, I did mention that Persona 5 Royale was a cash grab, and this is another one of those. Definitely a skippable game. Now, I did play a Dragon Quest game. I think it was 9 or 10 or one of them. That was the big one a few years back, and I enjoyed it a little bit for just seeing what the buzz was about the series. But Dragon Quest by no means is something that you really need to play, and I should preface this by saying I am a huge JRPG fan, and I don't really want to have to defend that, but just know that if I had to pick a genre to play for the rest of my life, it would be JRPGs, and Dragon Quest is definitely not one of them. I don't even know what Giga Bash is, but it's a fighting game, and apparently it's got some kind of update with some kind of famous Japanese character, I'm assuming. I don't know much about it, nor does anybody know much about it. Totally skippable, and I just threw this in here just to show, as many others, this Tokyo Game Show is not hitting on any of its fronts. What the fuck is Giga Bash? Scarlet Nexus got shown. Now, I've made a video specifically about Scarlet Nexus and how it will be a letdown. It is going to be very similar to Code Vein because it is made by the same people, and I don't think that this will be that game, even though the premise looks pretty good. I even admitted myself, but that combat is going to feel clunky and feel bad, and this is not next gen by no means. This is not the next gen, so I get why you would be hyped about Scarlet Nexus. I would simply say just go look at Code Vein. This is just not it, Chief. I'll tell you what is it. Village. I cannot wait for Village. Got a little bit more at TGS 2020, and it's just looking so good, shaping up to be very, very good. And a little bit more information here is that it's going to be a little bit more exploration in this installment. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm looking for Resident Evil to find its new voice, to tell new good stories, and have new gameplay elements added. I know Biohazard was still very much a classic Resident Evil game, even though that they changed up some of the main proponents. It was still very much a classic game. I think Village is going to deviate from that, and I'm excited for that change. I want the future, I want change, and I cannot wait for Village. Village is definitely something to keep watching. Bright Memory. Now, this looked really interesting. However, this has been out before, and I'm not sure what the big hype is. It's conceptually really dope, first person. Again, this isn't new. I don't know if the port itself is going to be new for consoles, and this kind of falls in the category of, all right, thanks for bringing that game over to consoles. But if you're a PC player, you might have already played this, and if you haven't, I would suggest getting right on it because this shit looks really dope. Observer System Redux, next gen reveal. Now, I watched the trailer. I don't think that it's necessarily next gen in the way it looks. However, it is pretty close. It is a story visual type of game along the lines of a Until Dawn and those type of games, I'm assuming. So Observer here was the only one that I was like, okay, finally something I can get on board with, in a sense that it's new and it looks interesting. But I haven't been able to say that for most of the stuff we've shown already. Again, with the cash grabs, I don't understand them at the Tokyo Game Show, but it's very apparent with something like Persona 5 Scramble. I don't even know what it is, and I don't care what it is. Persona 5 was a great game in and of itself. Let it go, let it die, and create Persona 6. I was hyped about maybe Persona 6 information, but it's very clear that the studio and the world is not ready to move on from Persona 5's world, and that's unfortunate because you can kill a series by doing shit like this. Let Persona 5 die, please, and work on something new because this isn't next gen. Fault Milestone 2. Doesn't interest you? Doesn't interest me. I think it's like a movie story type of game, a book simulator. And yeah, artwork, anime. I'm a huge fan of anime as well. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just sitting here hating on TGS 2020 so far. Make sure I hit that point so far because it is not over. I'm just saying that Fault 2 Milestone is not something I want to fucking see. And it's not that I'm hating on the fans of any of the games I'm talking about. I'm just saying this can't be what you wanted as well from TGS 2020. It can't be. It can't. Bringing up another thing that it can't be is how can you fuck up Monster Hunter Rise so bad by putting it on the Nintendo Switch? I can't believe, again, I don't know what the problem is, why they can't. It seems like a lot of developers were shown at TGS. They don't know what to do with the next generation. They don't want to move on with their franchises. They don't want to make true AAA titles for the new next gen consoles. Instead, we get Monster Hunter Rise. I looked at it. It looked interesting. It didn't look like World, and that's okay with me because I understand that World was something that hardcore fans don't like because that changed their series up. However, you cannot deny the success of World and what it did for the franchise and what it meant, and you just kind of diminished all that by making Rise. Forget the fact that you're also creating some kind of spin-off shit with Monster Hunter Stories 2. I don't even know what Monster Hunter Wings of Ruin Story 1 is, honestly, and I don't care. I wanted something else. Give me Monster Hunter World 2. Give me Monster Hunter Rise for the AAA new consoles. Make the games that we want. And I get it. Some people, when I won't name names because I did watch some people talk about Rise, they like it because it is their return to the Nintendo DS type of Monster Hunters and the PSP Monster Hunters, and that's all cool. But that's in the past. Let the past go or play those old games. That's cool. But Monster Hunter Rise, it is, if not the #1 biggest disappointment at TGS 2020, that this is not a real big title. This has now been delegated to something off to the side, and that's not good for Monster Hunter, honestly. Talk about something else that's not good. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Yeah. I actually enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3. I thought it was beautifully done. It's definitely where Nomura shines the most, because I have thrown shade to Nomura. I think he should just stick to Kingdom Hearts and that really be it. Melody of Memory is an obvious cash grab, and this isn't even the good kind of cash grab like with Dream Drop Distance or the PSP spin-off. This is the bad kind of cash grab. Definitely won't be playing this. I have seen no point. You did get a trailer. I saw you with Aladdin. I'm done with it. I'm done with that. I want Kingdom Hearts 4. Show me and tell me about Kingdom Hearts 4. Who asked for this? Metamorphosis, another title that is just last gen and looks like another story type of basis game. I have no clue, but who cares, because it's Metamorphosis and it's supposed to change. I will say conceptually, Metamorphosis is a little bit intriguing with the bugs and stuff, but it looks so bad. It just looks so bad that I just don't see how this game could excel. Yeah, I just don't see how this works. The biggest no-name title right here is The Medium. Now, this is something Troy Baker has worked on, and I'm getting sick and tired of Troy Baker, honestly, and God forbid you criticize anything he works on, because he's liable to say you're not a critic, you don't know what you're talking about, and criticism is bad, and quote some fucking dead president. I'm tired of Troy Baker, honestly, but The Medium looks like a shitty Returnal. Now, do you remember Returnal? Same concept, where there's different times and you see different things apparently. The Medium just doesn't look like it's doing that in an interesting way like a Returnal. It just seems very basic. It seems like while the premise is interesting, it doesn't look like it's going to be that good in terms of, obviously it doesn't look that good, and whatever split screen thing they were showing in the trailer or the reveal or whatever they were doing with the Troy Baker thing, I hope that's not how the actual game is, because that does not look good. So Medium, I guess if you're kind of hyped about it and you're a Troy Baker fan, alright, cool. I'm not gonna knock that. I'm just personally tired with Troy Baker, and The Medium looks okay, I guess. It's definitely not Returnal, and I want Returnal level type of reveals. They didn't have to show me something that was coming out in a month. They could show me something that was coming out in 2 years and get me hyped about it, but there was nothing really hype at all about this TGS 2020. That's going to be the conclusion of the Tokyo Game Show 2020 so far. Again, I emphasize so far. Nothing has really wowed me at all. There are a few titles there that look interesting. There's a lot of add-on content, I'm going to say, been shown. There's a lot of obscure titles that have been shown, and there's tons of last-gen titles that have been shown, and TGS is shaping up to be very, very disappointing. Let's not forget, tons of stuff that we've already seen has been shown, so I don't know what TGS is doing. Nobody is throwing a gamble out there and saying like, this is our next gen plan. Oh, this is a title that we're working on. Yeah, we just have a trailer right now and we don't have much else, but you know, you can look forward to it in 2022, 2023. Nothing like that, and I think that is desperately needed for the Tokyo Game Show. And do I have to mention, where are the JRPGs? I know I talk a lot. I definitely rambled. I might have hit a rant. I'm the grown kid, and I catch you back in another video.